Hey, it's John Muskillet. You're listening to Dispatch Radio.
All right, folks, welcome back. And you guys have heard the music. We've played it here on Bumper Music. You've heard a little bit about his new album already here on the show. It's called Greater Things. But this is a worship leader and a co-writer of some of the most impactful worship songs for the last several years, Resurrecting, Do It Again, Come to the Altar. And that, of course, is Mack Brock, now on a solo tour doing different things with a new album and some great partners going on the road. So, Mack, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brandon.
So let's jump right into it, man. It has to be a scary proposition to kind of be called and turn that page from doing what you were doing before and now doing a solo album.
Sorry, you cut off for a minute. What was the question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's talk about a little bit about that scary proposition of changing from what you were doing before now to doing a solo project.
Yes. It was a scary proposition. It was a lot of unknown. When my wife and I felt like the Lord was asking us to step away from Elevation, we didn't really even know what was next or where we were going or why we were stepping away. But in doing that, we've kind of been really open-handed throughout the past year and a half, and I don't know, God has just directed our path, and so today is kind of a little bit of the fruition of just walking in that day to day. And so, yeah, we've been grateful for the journey.
So talk a little bit about Greater Things, the kind of music and what people can really expect from the album.
Yeah, I mean, this album is just kind of full of songs that have been really important to me in the past year. It's kind of funny, putting out a solo project feels very like an artist thing, but I'm not really an artist. I'm a worship leader. And so I think this album really does reflect that these are worship songs, and these are songs that, were written with the mindset of these are songs for the church, and these are songs for God's people to kind of be able to use as an awareness of God's presence. And so that's kind of what the album is it's a worship album, and I think, sonically it's new for me, and there are hints, I think, of even what I did when I was a part of Elevation, but there's also hints of just a new direction for me, or just exploring new space sonically. Yeah.
So the first single, obviously the title track from the song, is also called Greater Things. Very well received. It's streaming big. It's got off to a great start for you as well.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that experience. You've almost got confirmation. It's almost God showed up and said, "Hey, by the way, I got you. You got it. You're good."
Man, it's super grateful for that. I feel like that's a never-ending process for us as believers. Is we try to be obedient. We try to walk where we're feeling like we're being led to walk, but that still comes with doubt. It still comes with fear. It still comes with second guessing everything that we're doing. And God has to remind us constantly hey, don't worry, don't stress out. I got you. You don't gotta freak out all the time. He's so patient with us all the time, and it's so funny, because he will show up, and he will kind of give you confirmation, or give you a word of this is, you didn't have to worry. And then the next day something else will spark, and you'll have all these fears and all these anxieties again. And I know that that's just kind of part of our journey as believers, part of our humanity, is the way that we kind of process stuff. And I'm just grateful that God is continually patient with us and continually holding our hands through the journey.
You obviously were at Elevation as the worship leader for well over a decade, and were able to find such incredible success, and it turned into commercial success as well, with some of the hits taking off there for you as well. What has it been like from that group, and how they've supported you, and some of the feedback they've already given you?
I mean, I'm still close with a lot of people that are, a part of Elevation and a part of that church, and still love, I have so much love for that church, and so much love for that team. And you know, I've got a lot of like really close people in my life that are still plugged in there, that still pray for me and still, I don't know, are really involved with my life.
That's
So I
awesome.
feel like they've been a part of this journey with me too. Yeah.
You obviously are out on the road. You're doing a lot of different things, stuff that's wrapping up now. Obviously, looking ahead to the Heaven Tour and some different events. If you're listening to us locally, folks, there's tour dates here in Florida. Actually, his Heaven Tour wraps up in St. Pete and in Largo, right across the bay. So make sure you check out that. We'll put links to all that in the bottom of our post here. But talk a little bit about going out on tour with these different folks and what they've done to help lift you up and encourage you as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten a chance this past year to play with like a lot of new people and to travel and meet a lot of new people, and I've been so grateful. Again, like that's been part of the process for me too. Is you talk about confirmation, or you talk about you know, you're not walking in a that gives you these little confirming things. A lot of that has been through like the people that I've played with or the people that I've gotten to lead worship with. Is getting to know these like awesome believers and these awesome like leaders, and it has been an encouraging thing to like get to spend time with them and to get to like lead with them and kind of support me and to help me, and I've just been grateful for everybody I've gotten to like share the stage with over this past year.
Who's really been one of the influences here to help you kind of like get through this new project process and really kind of make you transition a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to even like pinpoint it down to one person. There's been so many people that have been involved. You know, when I honestly, when I first signed with Capitol, Chris York, who's my A&R guy, has been like one of the biggest. I don't know. He's been in the trenches with me through this whole process, and he's been in the trenches with me like with the songwriting process and figuring out like which songs am I connecting to and which songs are like really like, I don't know, rising to the top and connecting me with like great, you know, he's been in the process with like producers and just, I don't know. I've been really, really grateful for like everybody on my team and everybody from the label and every producer that I worked with and every songwriter that I worked with. So it's hard to even pinpoint it down to one person. It's just been such a team effort. That I've just been so grateful for.
We're talking with Mack Brock. He's promoting his first solo album, Greater Things, after just years of incredible success at Elevation Worship with some great, powerful worship songs. Now transitions into a new phase of his career and expanding a more personal voice out for you folks, and partner with how God can influence your life through this message. And you know, Mac, as you move now, you're kind of inspired by a lot of different things, and some of that. One of the things that I had in my notes here is obviously the song called "Into Dust," and I know there's an inspiration to somebody very close to you. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Lisa Turkhurst is a dear friend of mine and my family's. My wife works really closely with her, and she's got a book coming out in the coming months, and this, you know, after reading that book, like that, her story and her vulnerability and just kind of her openness with the season that she was in, I don't know, it really like touched me and it really inspired me, and I could relate to it in a lot of ways. I think all of us can relate to walking through like very devastating seasons of life or very like challenging seasons of life. And I think when we readjust our perspective, that's when like God can kind of like do something special, you know, and God can like take our dust and take our bad situation and really transform it into something special, you know. And so that's kind of where the song came out of.
You mentioned your wife a couple times. I know you have a couple of kids. What's another song that sort of kind of like has direct ties right out of your family or something that's impactful from that experience?
Man, I think this whole album is full of that. Honestly, this album is like an album, like a lot of the songs on this album are just like declaring the faithfulness of God. And that's what we've experienced as a family. There's a song called To the End that has just been it's been a really special song for me because that's been the song just kind of talks about how like God knows us more intimately than anybody else, and He still loves us more intimately than anybody else. And so we can just rally around the faithfulness of God in our lives. And that's just kind of been, I don't know, that's been such a powerful thing for my family, not only in this season, but just for years.
It's absolutely awesome, folks. You want to check out Greater Things. You're probably already catching the single now, which is definitely exploding. It's called Greater Things also, but tons of great stuff. The single Into Dust is one that you definitely want to check out. I know the New York Times, Lisa Turkis book is also very important to keep on your radar screen there. That book is actually called Not Supposed to Be This Way. May?
Not supposed to be this way. Yep.
Not supposed to be this way. Okay. So you know, as you've transitioned, obviously you're a solo album and all these kinds of things. What do you do to kind of recalibrate a little bit? How do you and your wife kind of have some downtime? What do you do to kind of recenter?
I mean, I spend a lot of time with my kids. Spend a lot of time, you know, just like quiet time with my wife at home. And honestly, like, that's like the best thing for me. It's just like when I get home and I'm just gonna like play video games with my son, play Fortnite, and just kind of like chill with them, play with, you know, my little girls, Disney princesses, and just kind of recharge that way. And then, yeah, like I think me and my wife finding like very intentional times, like with our calendar and with our schedule, has been like very important to us to make sure that we're not kind of living separate lives. Or not like she's busy and I'm busy and we'll see each other when we see each other. It's like, no, we got to sit down with the calendar and plan ahead. Like how can, you know, what are the times that we can get good time together? So that's been helpful.
I know, obviously, as we kind of wrap up here a little bit, I want to kind of give you a little bit of a chance to plug the tour and where to get your music and those kinds of things.
Say that again, sorry.
I just want to give you a chance to plug the tour that you're on and what's coming up and kind of how to get a copy of the music, your website, and stuff like that.
Yep. So Greater Things, it's available on all platforms, you know, all streaming services, iTunes, whatever. And then I go on tour. We start, I think, this Friday, September 21st. I'm going on tour with Mosaic Music, Cody Carnes, Local Sound. And it's going to be a blast. I'm so excited. These nights of worship are going to be really, I don't know, powerful. Like everybody on this tour is a great worship leader and great like leaders of churches. And so I'm just excited to be a part of the night with them.
We're going to link to that, folks, mackbrock.com/tour. There's date information there. There's tours all over the Midwest, Michigan, Ohio, down in the South, from North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, that kind of thing. And then back across the country. He's in Washington State at one point, in Texas, California. And then, of course, like I said, he's going to wrap that one show up here in St. Pete if you're listening to us live in the Tampa Bay area. And it is just such an honor to talk to Mack, and I wish you a lot of luck, my friend. Hope to hear from you again soon.
Hey, thanks so much, Brandon.
All right, folks, stay with us. We'll be right back.